Hello, I'd like to welcome you all. I'm Ann Udeloy. I'm the Vice Chair of Lake Forest Park's Climate Action Committee. And we have with us a special guest tonight, Deputy Mayor Melanie O'Kane from the city of Kenmore. I especially would like to welcome you. I'd just like to open our meeting with a recognition that we are among many peoples who have been on this land, and this land was originally settled, occupied, and inhabited for millennia by Native American groups who moved through the area, including the Duwamish, Muckleshoot, and other nations that lived and thrived in these areas, and without whose gracious cooperation we couldn't thrive here today. So I am filling in for Sarah Phillips, who normally chairs these meetings. I'd like to introduce Council Member Tracy Furutani, who is our liaison with the City Council, and Corey Roche, who works with City of Lake Forest Park and is here to help us take notes and make certain that we administer the meeting properly. Deputy Mayor O'Kane, I'd like to introduce the other members of our committee before we bring you on board. And I'm going to start with our newest member, Matt. Could you just say hello? And have you identified a subgroup that you're focusing with yet?
Well, Anne, you were gracious enough to invite me to join the data group meeting. I think
Absolutely.
Jessica was also on that email, but I don't know if I didn't get an invite to their meeting this month or if it just didn't happen. But so I've sat in on one subgroup, so I'm not sure 100% yet, but it was a great meeting, and
So,
yeah. Thank you.
Look forward to your having an opportunity to meet with the other subgroups, and obviously all hands welcome everywhere. So Tamara.
Hello, my name is Tamara Erickson, and I am one of the co-chairs of the Communication Community Outreach Subcommittee.
Brian?
Yes, hello, I'm Brian Saunders, and I am part of the data group, which sounds really boring, but we try to make it exciting.
So we're the most trying group. Okay.
We're
good.
the most trying group, exactly.
Thank you for that, Brian.
We have the biggest obstacles to overcome with excitement.
And Miriam.
Hi, I'm Miriam Bertram, or Mimi, and I've been working with the communications group on the survey and with Tracy and others on the resources group.
So, if we'll introduce Deputy Mayor Melanie O'Kane, and then we'll move into the agenda, which will include adoption of the agenda, minutes, and this sort of thing, and then we'll move into the main meat of the meeting. So, Deputy Mayor O'Kane, thank you so much for joining us. And if you just take a moment to describe your leadership with the climate action programs in Kenmore, would appreciate that. And you're muted.
Sorry about that. I'm learning. I'm a slow study on the mute unmute functionality of Zoom meetings. Thankful that we're starting to do more things in person, of course. So I started on Kenmore City Council in 2020, and when I was at our first retreat, climate was number 9, I believe, on the City Council priorities. After that retreat, with a lot of advocacy and agency on my part and others, but I felt that I was a strong voice. Climate action moved from number 9 to number 3. which was a pretty huge shift. Last year, one year later, or in 2021, I learned a little bit about how to rank and vote and made sure that I did my best to ensure it moved up again. So we went to number 2 last year. It actually tied for number 1 with affordability, affordable housing, and climate were tied, and we had a vote off, and affordable housing was our number 1. This year, climate action became our number 1 priority as a council, with affordability as our number 2. And my belief is that with climate action planning is required to maintain some sense of affordability, right? We can't have an affordable planet if we have no access to the systems that we need. So that's a little bit of my experience on the council as far as climate. I've been a strong voice for climate action. In particular, a lens that I like to put on it is about the importance of environmental sustainability and cleanup work in service of sustaining our planet and creating jobs, and seeing that there's a relationship to natural systems enhancements and sustainability to reducing carbon emissions as much as we need to reduce actually what we are emitting through the carbon measurements and that sort of thing. The year that I was elected and started, Deborah Shrubnik had come up with the concept of a formal climate action plan. So I have to give her credit for putting together a framework that we ended up using as a council to vote on and start moving this forward. So I just want to share that. But we have a council that's in support of climate action, and it's taken some advocacy there. So we can talk about it more later, but that's a framework. I serve as our voting member on RIA 8. I'm on our K4C legislative committee, and I'm also an SCA alternative representative on the flood district commission. So those are my roles, really directly tied, I think, to the environment. So that's a little bit about me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now, Councilmember Furutani or Corey, I have a point of order. Do we have a quorum? Don't think we need 6 members to have a quorum, is that correct? And does Councilmember Furutani count as that? 5?
Yeah.
5, okay. So we do have a quorum. What I would like to do, Corey, if you have the share, am I able to share screen?
Yes,
I suppose I should just try. So I'm going to share the agenda. And hopefully you are all looking at the agenda. And are there any additions or changes requested to the agenda, which is the next step, review and approve meetings from minutes from August, citizen comments, and then we move directly to our discussion with Deputy Mayor Kane, and then subcommittee reports, discussion of new business, including picnic in the park, and moving through the agenda. And anything additional or changes proposed?
I guess I've just been informed that we need 6 for a quorum, and so this can't be an official meeting, right? We can still make it a work session.
Yeah.
Well, I think it should remain a work session, but I don't think there's any value in reviewing and approving the minutes if we do not have a quorum of 6.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in that case, what I will ask is for approval of the agenda with the understanding that as we do not have a quorum, we are postponing review of the meeting minutes and approval of those minutes to the next meeting, the October meeting. Is there any objection? Any objection to the agenda as revised?
No.
Last call for objections. The agenda is approved. With that, are there any citizens who would like to make a comment at this time? Corey, have we got anybody in a waiting room?
No attendees.
All right. Then with that, I'm going to stop sharing. And again, welcome Deputy Mayor O'Kane. And our goal for tonight is to have something of an overview of how Kenmore decided to frame and develop the climate action plan that you're working with, and have this be an open enough session. If people have questions or would like to pursue, would you rather that they wait for a specific break point, or would you like to take questions in stride?
I think I'll be happy to take questions in stride. And I think, and the way I've come prepared for this, which as I'm prepared more based on my experience participating on this. I didn't create a formal presentation,
Yes.
but I do have some things that I can share with you that will help carry this. One of the questions that I have for you is, where are you on your climate action plan? Just so that I have as a city, so I can kind of say this is, so I can kind of compare or not overdo it on one side or the other.
You know, I'm glad you asked that, because as it turns out, we actually have a climate action plan from 2008 that was developed, approved, and put on a shelf, and not much else happened. But the plan itself exists, and it has some very useful elements. And this committee is working to enhance, improve, and begin adopting elements from the plan. I think we've just popped up to quorum. We will continue with the meeting as it is now, and if I assume there will be time towards the end, we can do minutes reviews and the like, but I'm not changing the order of the agenda as it sits right now. Welcome, Jessica. Would you like to just take a second and introduce yourself? And we're about to move into the presentation and discussion with Deputy Mayor O'Kane.
Sure. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Jessica Cote. I'm a coastal engineer, owner of Blue Coast Engineering here in Lake Forest Park. And my daughter, Anna, is a student representative. She's just walking off the soccer field, which is why I'm late. So she will not be here tonight.
I hope it was a good evening for soccer.
It was 2-1. We won.
Oh, beautiful night and a beautiful ending. Excellent for the team. So with that, Deputy Mayor O'Kane we're going to discuss where we are in our climate action planning, get some thoughts as to how Kenmore move forward with their program, and Deputy Mayor O'Kane is perfectly willing to take questions as they arise. So our 2008 climate action plan is has a number of elements. It was done in partial fulfillment of a master's thesis in public administration by a UW graduate student. And it's got some very nice elements and concepts that we're studying and working with. And we're also looking at other specific elements as we pull together our committees. Our data committee is working on pulling together what is knowable and known about carbon emissions in Lake Forest Park so that we can have some sense of metrics, both in terms of how we're generating carbon and also in terms of our carbon sinks. Our communications committee is working on the two-way communication aspect, first getting information from citizens and sharing information back out. And really, communications and outreach has been a big part of our focus. And would anyone have I missed any elements, Tracy?
Yeah, and just as a matter of an approach, the 2008 Climate Action Plan, as well as our approach so far, has been much more towards public engagement and outreach rather than regulatory. And so I don't know what the balance is for that, but that's one thing that I was hoping that you would be able to comment on about the Kenmore's plan.
Yeah, I think I can do that. And one thing that I have to say that I'm impressed with and thankful to see in Lake Forest Park is that you actually do have a formal climate action committee that's working directly with council. It's something that I've been wanting Kenmore to create, because it's a great way to utilize the skills and resources of our community members and expand the bandwidth of our local governments. Because here's a reality, there's only so much funding that we have, and a lot of people with ideas who want to take action. So this is a really great foundation and something that I think is incredibly important. City, state, county, every level of our government, we need to be starting to really reach out to our community members to help us implement this incredibly important work. The next piece that I was going to say, I'm not surprised that you have something from 2008. I think that, and I'm not saying this to fluff you, but when I look at a city that I point to, there are a couple of cities that I point to with some of their climate work that I think is impressive, or at least what I can see just with my eyes. You can actually feel it in Lake Forest Park. The preservation and stewardship that's taking place in Lake Forest Park is notable. You're a very well-known environmentally engaged community. I think Kirkland's also doing some pretty incredible things just from what I've seen and heard. With that, in Kenmore, I think one of the things that is notable, and I don't know anything about how your city is run, but we have a city manager who has a style that really takes his way of leading the city. He takes our council priorities, and that's why I talked about them pretty strongly when I was introducing myself, and develops his work for the city based on the council priorities. So if climate is at number 9 on the council priorities and sidewalks are number 1, and we've got 4 other things at the top 5, climate action isn't going to get the attention that it needs and merits at this time in our world. Fortunately, we've been able to vote it up to number 1. So by giving our city manager and our city staff direction that climate action is one of our top priorities in our top 5, number 1 now, I'm just going to say it's our top priority. That gives him the latitude to invest resources towards this work and find the creative ways that are necessary to actually getting the job done. Rather than, you can say it's a priority, but if you're not taking any action towards building it, nothing's going to happen. It's all lip service. And we've been living in a time, and I don't mean to be, you'll just get to know me. I'm just going to speak a little freeform. We are living in a time where we've had too much lip service or not even enough lip service, and too much futility on the part of cities and our people when it comes to the environment. So one of the things that City of Kenmore has done is directly reached out to the people through surveys and gotten their insight to see what their priorities are, so that as we drive this plan, that we're in line with our community. And one thing I can say, I think it has been 3 years that we've been developing it. So we started in 2.5. 2020, we said, yes, we want a climate action plan. By 2021, we started really getting the ball rolling. Now we're in 2022. We have voted and adopted a climate action plan as of May of this year. That took a lot of effort. Now that we have the plan in place, the number one thing that we had to do is figure out how we're going to do it. How are we going to staff it? Where are we going to get the funds to do this critical work? And that's the part that it does take committees like this and councils saying, this is a top priority. We have to take action. We're going to have to find the resources to fund this work. For City of Kenmore, I've got all sorts of ideas. Personally, and this may be laying a little bit too much on the table about me politically, but I don't mind. I think this work is so critical that I'm not worried about going in depth for it. Okay, we are going to ultimately have to hire staff. We're going to have to work with our local communities. Now, I doubt I have a quorum on my council that goes there. So we're going to find the money. Okay, so we're going to find the resources to do this work. But I do think there needs to be some language going on in our world that we have to invest. An investment in climate action today actually is fueling our economy. Investment in government and hiring staff who create the projects to get the work done that we need to do. Say in Lake Forest Park, a large part of that work is probably communications out to the community, teaching them, and you may have an already relatively well-informed population or community, ways that they can improve their or reduce their carbon emissions in their homes and their commutes and, recycling and all those ways that we all can do as individuals. And I see Jessica has her hand up.
Yeah, I'm just curious. So when you say that you're not going in depth, right? I heard you correctly. You're saying at this time, not going to in depth. So are you saying?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant debt, like
Debt.
deficit,
Okay.
like
Okay.
below the line.
Okay,
But
not going in debt.
Kind of
Okay.
like Elon Musk went in debt and now
Yeah.
he's a trillionaire, or whatever. Sometimes you have to invest to get where you want to go. And our governments have been starved for 40 years. It's time for us to invest in government, take the chance, create the jobs so that we can get there. But that's me kind of pointing a little bit further down the line than I think a lot of people are willing to talk today. It's something I just plant a seed with every time. It's it's part of my new thing. We have to invest in government. Government's been starved for so long. That's why we are here today on many levels, but this critical issue of environment. And I have actually at a council meeting even spoken to, we need to be able to invest. We're looking at potentially levies and that sort of thing to get funding, but I would rather not tax or, bonds. I would rather not increase taxes to do this work. I'd rather find the money from federal funding that may be coming our way and other grants and that sort of thing. I think there's a way. If there's a will, there's a way, and we can do this. Anne, I see your hand.
Yeah, you mentioned that you reached out to the community and got
Yeah.
their input so that you could also get their buy-in and support for this. Would you be willing to share the surveys that you used
Yeah.
to engage with the community? Because we're discussing that as a priority next step.
Yeah, it is
on this path.
So I'll go ahead and share my screen. I pulled up our climate action plan and just kind of some high level stuff and then the depth of it. I didn't see where to put a link in chat, but I'd be happy to put a link in the chat if there's a way for me to do that here. Is there? Or I know sometimes they don't do chat features for
No,
records reasons and that sort of thing.
If you want to email like Tracy or we can send it out.
Yeah, why don't I do that? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'll do a reply all on one of our, I'm going to go ahead and go with entire screen. I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to share. I work a lot in Teams, less in Zoom, at least as far as navigating and sharing and that sort of thing. So I'm guessing you can see my screen now. Would that be correct? If I click over here, can you see the Kenmore Climate Action Plan link?
Okay.
Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to pray that the first email I see is the one. This is part of your chain. I'll just go ahead and email Tracy because that's easier. Let's see. Sorry, I just want to actually, I'm just going to go ahead and include Rob's comments.
Sure.
I wonder the best way to, actually, I'm just going to. Talking and doing this is it T for Atani? Yeah, there we go. And Anne Udaloy. I'll send it to both of you because I know both of you by heart, or you're already in my memory. So I'll go ahead and send that. You've got that now. And I'm going to go back to my City of Kenmore Climate Action Plan. And this is an outstanding resource. And if I had one do-over to do today, it would have been inviting our city manager, Rob Carlinzi, to this meeting because he has the details. I tend to be at kind of a high level conceptual place, and he takes the idea and can line it out in detail in order of how he takes action. This is a link to our climate action plan, and here's the direct link. But I think right here is our timeline of how we worked on getting this done. And so from May to December of 2021 was when we were engaging the community and stakeholders to develop the strategy and report. And so the details of what surveys and outreach we did, he will be able to share with you. But we also have a little bit more detail in our actual climate action plan, which I know we had passed it a couple months ago, but looking at it today again, I was really pretty proud of it, honestly. It's been a big effort. You can see here, there was a pretty large team that helped put this together. And we did actually hire a consultant to help us develop the plan, in addition to staff participation and we had an intern as well who was absolutely fantastic. And just trying to see if I can get to the place that does show a little bit more detail on our, I wonder if I can link. No, okay, excuse me. I think it's a little bit further down. Let me go to, I think, page 30 and work back. I think it's before this. So please forgive me for thinking and looking at this looking at this as I'm trying to organize my thoughts. When I scrolled through this, I thought, oh, I can just I can go right to exactly what I want to share. And
By the way, I just wanted to say how much I enjoy the new Log Boom Park layout. It's just a wonderful example of mitigating a shoreline and also making it useful for recreation. So I think Kenmore deserves a lot of praise for that.
well, thank you so much. We're really proud of it, and it felt good to get it open this summer and start using it for our West Lake Sammamish Bridge opening. I'm not sure if any of you saw the fireworks, but the new shoreline there is an absolutely perfect place to watch fireworks if we ever have them again at Kenmore. I think we'll probably do 4th of July next year. We're talking about possibly doing a drone show as well. But the fireworks that we had recently made me remember how special they can be despite the noise. So here, I probably should have just kind of stayed in order. Yeah, okay. So what we did was, we defined why we need a climate action plan, and then looked at what we're doing already as a city and how we can expand on what we're doing as a city. We also reached out. So this is kind of the synergies with other city plans. These are things that we might already be working on. And how do these items relate to climate action? And we identified those items. This is the community engagement slide that I was really excited about. And so the community action plan development and community engagement process was quite detailed. But we did surveys, we had public meetings, and did our best to engage with organizations that work directly with the community that might not, pay attention to a flyer or an email or an opportunity to participate in a survey, to make sure that all members of our community were engaged. And I think this is we actually had some really great things come out of it. no surprises, and probably things that were in your 2008 survey, actions and priorities to the community. I think a really important thing is that we're saying, hey, community, we know you care about the climate. What are your ideas? They're more than likely going to validate a lot of what the city and you as the Climate Action Committee want to do. But it's engaging the community in a way that they feel like there's something that they're adding value, they're contributing to an issue that is incredibly critical for our time. They're actually having a space to use their voice. And it's also a way to bring people in and see that they can, like having open house meetings, I think are so important. Creating space for people to speak up about what they want to see helps us all gain power and recognize the potency of our voices, and that when we see each other speaking and acting on the environment, we realize that there is hope. Rather than listening to the dismay and how scary it is, which, I mean, it's undeniably frightening what can happen if we don't wake up as humanity to take action to save our planet. If we start focusing on what we want, seeing that there are others that want to focus on it too, and then start realizing we truly are the majority, there's almost a weird, it just starts the momentum. And the momentum starts shifting away from the pessimism that we get so much of to what we can and have to do. So that's why I think community engagement is so important, because a small government like Lake Forest Park or Kenmore, we're not going to be able to, we're going to do everything that we can at our level, right, to make a difference. But as all people start seeing that they are valuable to this crisis, we all start to find ways to contribute and make a difference and help each other and vote for the right people to help make this stuff get done. So
I'm sorry, Deputy
Yeah.
Mayor, are these
Yeah.
community priorities, are these priorities and goals based on what the government of Kenmore should be doing, or is this more general to what they hope to spread throughout the entire city?
I think it was focused on Kenmore, city of Kenmore, but I think Rob could probably speak to that more directly. When we sent, we did hear directly from the community about these items as their priorities. That's an excellent question. And I tend to go so broad, I think they care about both, but for us as a community of Kenmore, this survey was targeted at what can Kenmore do? What should we be focusing on for the people of Kenmore and the environment at large?
Melanie, I have found a link on your website to the it's called the Phase 1 Engagement Summary. For the Climate Action Plan, and that does have the exact questions that were being asked, which are broad. For example, what are your priorities? I'll share screen briefly.
I just turned off my share.
So, for example, the question here, this is a drag and drop. You'd put your cursor on whether this is your highest priority to the left, lowest priority to the right. Expand renewable energy resources, reduce emissions related to building, encourage alternative transportation modes, promote broad electric vehicle adoption. So that's a community goal. But there's no, it isn't, should the city do this or should the residents do this? It's should the community as a whole work towards these goals?
Yes.
So,
and go ahead. Sorry.
I think that was the wording of these questions is something that I think that our entire communications group can work on, because that's I think leaving it open like that has a certain value. Because there's only, the municipal government component is small compared to the every citizen component. And yet you have to work synergistically or you can't achieve these broad community outcomes, such as encouraging alternative forms of transportation, because any one person can't create safe bike lanes. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to toss that in there, and I'll stop sharing. There we go.
Yeah, I actually, thank you so much for taking a minute to look that up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought the questions were good because they give us some latitude in how we as a council and city can move towards those items. And here are just a couple things, as much as I sent it to you, I think one of the things that Rob highlighted is that CAP includes things both the city can do and things the community can do. The city organization's greenhouse gases are a small percentage of the greenhouse gases compared to the entire Kenmore community. So the lion's share of the greenhouse gas reduction will come from the community. And how do we create an environment that encourages that? And so it can be incentivizing heat pumps, or it can be, solar, or working with PSE or whomever it is that we have to do to help make these things more accessible to our communities. And I also see an opportunity working together broadly as a region or an area, like smaller cities working together, Kenmore and Lake Forest Park, pooling, communications resources that way too, possibly might be an option down the line. Or, Lake Forest Park to Woodinville, we could have a chain working together, but those are just ideas. So anyway, do you have other questions? I mean, so our resources are here. We have really fabulous resources. I think our city did outstanding work outlining our plan, reaching out to the community, and putting something together that we are taking action on. Like I mentioned, the thing that came up, and this just has really recently come up, and it was probably the day before Tracy and I were in the same meeting, or Councilmember Furtani and I were in the same meeting, and I brought up, well, we have to fund these positions. How are we going to do this? And we can't do the work if the government doesn't fund the work. And we have to find a way to do it. So I think that's the biggest challenge facing us today, is hiring the FTEs to help steer the priority on the projects that need to get done first, to build the work, and start feeding those that can complete the work. There's plenty of private sector work out there. If we organize the work, we're going to have to hire people to get it done, unless we develop this fantastic Green New Deal that, is in my dreams. But, we're going to have to hire people to do the work. Our economy will be fed by this, but making sure that we're creating communications, and this may be outside of this meeting, but creating messaging that government investment in climate serves our economy. Because people are afraid of debt, but if we don't invest in saving our planet, we're not going to have an economy anyway, right? We have to choose. Sometimes you have to take a risk, and we have been not taking risks. We've been taking risks by not investing in government for 40 years, is what I'd like to say. So it's time for us to swing the pendulum back and serve our people. So we can have a plan, but if we don't fund it, it's not going to do any good. And so, I enjoy talking about this stuff. I'm curious what questions that you might have, because I'm starting to get a little creative right now.
So, Tamara.
Yeah, thank you again, Deputy Mayor, for taking the time to talk to us. So you had mentioned that one of the things you would have done differently is to kind of have community members partner with council in developing the climate action plan. Are there any other things that, looking back, like, hindsight being 2020, that you wish you would have done differently, like advice for us, since we're at the beginning stages of this?
Well, I would say, number one, what you have is a committee already in place, which is what I wish that we had. I mean, and I want to be clear, we did engage our community. We just didn't set up a specific task force or community committee. But I do think you're ahead of the game. I think setting the intentions and dreaming big is the number one most important thing that we do right now. Okay, this is our moonshot for humanity or for the planet. It's bigger than us. So what I do, this is the way that I've worked with it at Kenmore is I look at the Sammamish River. We're at the mouth of the Sammamish River and the opening, we're at the crown of Lake Washington, a critical area for salmon habitat restoration. We used to have sockeye and king chinook swimming up the Sammamish. It's really hard to believe. We have potential opportunity to reseed with kokanee like they did in Lake Sammamish. But what is it going to take for us to get there? So my visions has been, and it goes to Lake Forest Park, the watershed work that you've been doing with your stream restoration and that sort of thing. Now, this isn't directly, climate action, I guess, the other part of it is, the carbon emissions from the cars that go through Lake Forest Park that are going to be very challenging to get off the road, right? It's a huge part of the emissions that actually go through Lake Forest Park would be 522, I can imagine. But I'm just saying, for me, I look at it as like, what's the broadest sweep that we can do? So I think, what if Kenmore became a center for green jobs and invasive species removal and native plantings? That we become a center for training for that and restoring salmon habitat and that sort of thing, that we become the model for that and are actually feeding the economy through this work. It's just my dream. So I think in that way. And I know that Kenmore can do so much, but the more that we have vision working together towards a higher goal, the more likely we're going to get there. It's crazy to me. It's like the higher the goal, the higher you fly. And so what I love about Lake Forest Park is you have a supportive council already, would be my assumption based on what my eyes see and my knowledge of the community. Working together and not being afraid. Bring more people in. Do what you can to make these climate action committee meetings, get them to 30 people on a Monday night or on Tuesday night. Like set goals, like how many people can I get here? How many ideas can we have? So when I ran for office, one thing, and it's still going, but I thought, how am I going to show the people of Kenmore I care about the environment? I was kind of a dark horse. No one knew me. I was from left field. Fortunately, I was a Democrat, so that gave me a leg up. But I thought, what am I going to be able to do to show the community that I really want to take action for the planet? I got lucky. I met Tracy Bonashinsky, who's a really strong community leader on behalf of salmon recovery in our community. And we came up with this idea and we decided to do a salmon habitat cleanup at Swamp Creek. And so now and I got lucky. I met the right person. We started this. And so it started with just removing blackberry canes from this park. But you get the group of people together in a committee like this, and you go, well, what are some things that we can do as a community and engage people to participate at a higher level? And then it builds. People show up. Council members start showing up to cut the blackberry canes too, right? Because they want to engage with the community and show. You can get businesses to sponsor and donate funds or do things. We get more brains together. The more creative we get, like anything that we can do that makes people go, gosh, I can have an idea and turn it into reality. And for us, it was 30 people cutting blackberries and laying some mulch or something one day, right? And then Tracy has been a leader and really kept it going. But that's an example of the sort of stuff that I think is critical towards us truly making a difference and getting all hands on deck. It's getting people to see where can they make a difference and have the bandwidth where, guess what? City of Kenmore wasn't going to touch Swamp Creek Park and get rid of the blackberries. but they're just about gone. Or, this section was, I need to go take a look and see how much they're doing different work now. In 2 years, almost 3 years, there's a notable difference. And that was directly because a community member started organizing and made it accessible.
So which of your outreach efforts did you consider the most successful in getting input from your community? Was it
Wow.
the survey or the pop-up
It was the survey.
events, the forums, the survey itself? Did
They really drove the survey. I do think that was probably the most engagement.
And one of the reasons I'm asking that is because you did have a professional group assist with that project. And they not only did an excellent job of outreach, but they also, in reviewing their, just looking quickly at their slides, they were able to look for what seemed to be, I won't say malicious, but data that could be excluded because it looked as though it was possibly one or more small groups of people providing the same input over and over again and trying to drive the survey to a conclusion that didn't really represent the community.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And being able to research that, to be able to create a survey that's quite open, but also be able to look for places where maybe it's being forced to an endpoint that isn't really representative. That's value added that we wouldn't necessarily be able to just reproduce as a group of volunteers handing out flyers.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I actually, what I would advise, drive your council to invest in the type of support that you need to get the work done and the results that you need. I think every penny of investment in gathering the information and synthesizing the data is worth it. And Rob can give you the nuts and bolts of what it cost and I think that was maybe $60,000 for that survey. It may have been 100. I can't remember.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. You might be able to tone it down because you're, I think, a third the size of Kenmore. So maybe the breadth of it might be different. But or you find ways of getting. I don't know how to do this, but this is like part of my thinking. Yeah. And I think it was on Riot 8. I think it was one of our Riot 8 committees. We've started like a governmental outreach committee that it just started. And Diane Buckshinnis, I think she's from Edmonds, put out this concept. How do we get people with the resources to start? And we're talking about the extremely wealthy people or corporations to start doing what they need to, since they're not being taxed by choice, volunteer and support this kind of work. Who do we know that we can tap and volunteer, or say part of our doing good for our community is donating this survey to a town like Lake Forest Park that wants to do this work. The good news for you is you have a 2008 framework. You probably can hire another intern for the summer, and our interns have been doing wonderful reports for us, and I can't remember who synthesized that final report into the format that it's in, but the interns are fantastic because they want to do good work. They're trying to find careers utilizing the knowledge that they learn working for us. So interns doing this work is a great way of getting things done. But as you said, that data set analysis, and find a next, how do you get an affordable expert?
Yeah.
So I have Deputy Mayor, real quick question. So how many people did you get responses from your survey? And how did you reach out to the community? What was your what methods of reach out, outreach engagement did you use?
I think we had mailings. We also had email. So I think we had both mailed out like postcards, and it was in our, probably in our newsletters and things like that, accessed through our regular routine communications. It was on the city website, but I believe it was direct outreach through, probably the mailings were one of the biggest ways. I'm just trying to remember, and this is why I wish I had Rob here, because he would be able to go into the details of what they sent out and how many people they reached. So I just remember the comments being, it was an impressive response rate to the surveys. And I wish I could say, I want to say it was like 2,000 people out of 23, I think. I think that'd be pretty high, but I may be wrong. So I don't want to give you a number that's not true. But Rob can provide that, and I could actually ask him
Yeah, your
to
phase one,
share
according
that.
to your, sorry to interrupt, but your phase one says that you got over 2,200 responses, which is amazing.
Yeah. So I was close. I did remember. That was good. Thank you. You guys are so fast doing your research.
Well, we
But
are.
I do know that Rob would be very happy to share more information with you, and probably would be happy to attend a meeting if you had detailed questions, if it was appropriate.
So I'm good. Oh, go ahead, Tracy.
Okay, yeah, so, as we're getting close to the end of this, I wanted to find out from you, which, from the point of view of the people that are working in the community on the CAP, as well as the council, what are like the next 3 things you're gonna do?
Oh,
I mean, I'm just saying 3 broadly. If it's like 1 or 2, that's fine too. But where do you go from here?
yeah. Well, I actually should look. I love how specific your question is. So, our goal is, I think, in alignment with other goals, but, it's a goal of 50% reduction in greenhouse gases by 2030 and 100% by 2050. And a big part of that will come from the community, right? So here in the city, and I actually we just had a meeting touching base on this. And I'm sorry for not having it more clearly listed out. But we are investing in electronic gas station, charging stations, right, for the cars, vehicle stations. I know that that's a big one. Communications out to the community, I think we're another. And I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank right now. So what I do know is we have tangible actions that are listed in the plan, and we are doing them. So I'm sorry that I'm not more precise.
No,
I tend to go broad and then focus in. So.
And did you rely upon, I'm sorry, Tracy, did I interrupt you?
No, go ahead, Brian.
I just was going to ask Deputy Mayor if you relied upon K4C for all your emissions calculations. How did you remember how you?
We use Cascadia law firm.
Oh, Cascadia.
I believe that's so. One of the big drivers, one of the things that helped us kind of kick off on this too has been, trying to get a handle on the emissions from the asphalt plant in Kenmore and the organization from our community around that. And then us driving with Puget Sound Clean Air Agency to get demand action. So we've actually made some really huge progress there. So we contracted with them for work on that. And I believe they're the same. They also were who we contracted with on the survey and the emissions calculations here. So that's my understanding. And so then they brought in the results, and we have a presentation out there. I wish I could give you the date, but we do have content on our site that you can see the results of the emissions calculations. And we actually drove, at least some of us asked for questions related. For me, I've been really curious about what the real impact of the asphalt and cement plant are on the city of Kenmore. beyond just the emissions from the stacks, but the trucks that go in and out of Kenmore and load up, and that sort of, and so we weren't able to get as much detail on that as what I had wanted, but we got we were able to drive towards understanding where the emissions come from, which is, we're a bedroom community. Other than the asphalt plant, we have houses, homes, residents that are generating the majority of our emissions, and the cars that drive through our city, of course. So, but that survey was very informative, and not survey, but the analysis of the greenhouse gas emissions I thought was very helpful.
So I'm going to ask one last question from my perspective. Where are you getting the most pushback and why? So are you experiencing any organized pushback from citizens or citizens groups saying, don't do this?
Zero. The pushback is funding. So I'm just, that's why I kind of hammer on that. It's about the money, and we can't be afraid anymore of raising our voices and demanding the money from whatever place that we have to go to it. So that's where I end up landing. In Ware City, I think community action and engagement and working with each other, connecting, making sure we're doing everything that we can connect. Like Tracy invited me here. I hopefully this has been helpful for you, but the message that I want to share to you is this thing about talking to each other and electrifying ourselves so that we know that there's stuff that we can do. And if we're just at least trying, we're going to get somewhere. That's the stuff. It's how we got to the moon, right? Somehow someone had an idea and then got the right people together, and people started getting excited, and we got to the moon. We have computers and all these cool things from it, right? So, this evolution of consciousness and things that we need to do in thinking and changing how we see government, getting visionary about how do we want to be in the world? What kind of world do we want to live in? How do we get to a place where we are all feeling more fulfilled, that we are contributing and making a difference and making this world a better place, rather than just dependent on a check or whatever it is that, keeps us where we are. And so that's the kind of stuff. So when we talk to each other, that hope sparks and lifts each other up. And then we can share it from like this room out in little places. Then suddenly it's a big wave. It's cool stuff.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do is ask if there are any last questions. But that's been an excellent presentation. The resources that are available on your website are fantastic, and we will feel free to follow up with you.
Yeah, do. And I promise not to wing it together on a long weekend return next time. I know my audience, I'll have a little bit of a better presentation for you. So
no.
I
We
was
asked
picturing
you
something
to
more
not.
casual.
We explicitly asked you to not prepare a slideshow or anything, but just be available for questions, so that because really we need to start digging in and do our homework too.
Yeah.
And this is a fantastic starting point, and I just can't thank you enough for joining us the day after a long weekend, and just as everything else is ramping up, taking time out of your schedule to spend this hour with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And one thing I do want to say, trust the good work from 2008. You may have such a strong enough foundation that just needs subtle tweaking. What your community wants is action. I know that, we tend to get really deep into data and community engagement. Create the events, do stuff at the farmers market and get people talking, like have a booth there, talk about the climate action plan where you're going to have a crowd. That's something that just came to mind. Like, go where the environmental people are, make yourselves seen, open, make yourself seen. Trust 2008. I know it was 14 years ago, but guess what? A lot of that stuff's still there. And you
Yeah,
can
a
see
lot
what
of
you've
stuff.
already done that's an improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have done a lot of beautiful restoration work. But if you don't have the money to go out there and do surveys and analysis, I can say you can trust what needs to be done. We're a neighboring community that's done a lot of this work. You can build on us and Shoreline and get a good read and do something at a lower investment sort of community engagement that shows that you care and you're engaging, that driving your council to the investment that it needs. And part of that is, I'm sorry, I started ramping up again, so I'm going to slow down. Part of it is talking to our reps and senators at the state and federal level and our King County Council. I mean, thank goodness we've got Rod Dembowski, who's amazing. He's here still, right? Can't remember. Redistricting has just been.
Nope, we're both
havoc.
still in Dombuski's district.
But we have wonderful representatives who are creators, who care, and they're different things. But when we start reaching up, so through RIA 8, what I'm trying to do, I'm driving with RIA 8 and K4C and the flood district, which cracks me up. I never imagined I'd be on a flood district committee, right? It's like, for me, if you don't know me very well, but that would maybe have been like the last thing I could have ever imagined being on. But I'm so glad I'm there. So, but connecting the dots that we're all in this together and, driving to get those funds out from wherever we can. So thank you. And we really genuinely want to thank you for including me. Tracy, thank you so much for the invitation. Anne, I've missed you. I missed the 46. I'm still feeling stingers.
We're in the first. It's all good.
Yeah, I love the first.
We're in the first together.
Oh, wait, yeah, you're in the first. Right. I need to start showing up to those meetings. So that's my job for this week. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure.
Separate from city council, so we'll just carry on. And
yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
very, very much. You're absolutely welcome to stay as long as you like in this meeting. You're also welcome to rejoin Life Currently in Progress as it is. We still have business to complete over here.
I'll let you go.
Thank you so much.
I'll get my kids groceries, and I want to thank you. I forgot we are in the first. That's right. Yes. We're all together. That's so cool. Okay. Well, have a wonderful evening, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to just take a minute and show the agenda again so that we can look at what we have got done and can plan to do. We've now lost Brian, so we're back to not having a quorum, and we will not review the minutes unless we have a quorum. But we can also, what I'd like to do is follow up with reports from our subcommittees, and I especially want to talk about Picnic in the Park and the October meeting date, make sure everybody's on board for that. So let's start with subcommittee reports. Tamara, Jessica, Mimi, anything you'd like to share with us, or?
So for the communications subcommittee, so we went back and had another meeting and revised the survey based on the feedback that we received from council at our last meeting. So I'd like to go over that and hopefully finalize it today, because we would like to have a booth at the Picnic in the Park and be able to start handing out the survey.
So are you able to share screen or?
Yep. Yeah, if I could. Okay, so I think you need to stop sharing and then I can share.
Oh, I am sorry.
No problem.
I'm sure you are correct.
All right, let's see. You can see my screen. Let me just see if I can make this
zoom in a bit
bigger. that better? Bigger?
There we go.
Okay. So we have, I'll try to go through this pretty quickly. So for here, we'll just put in the banner image that we have.
Mhm.
And then I think this is pretty much the same. So we just say, you know, we can utilize the below strategies to reduce our community's carbon dioxide emissions. Do you think our city should make these strategies a high, medium, or low priority? This is everything that we had discussed last time. So transitioning to non-fossil fuel transportation, transition to non-fossil fuels in homes, businesses, and city school buildings, significantly reducing community waste, and then give people an option to fill something in, and then also option if they don't understand the issue well enough. What are you currently doing to minimize your contribution to climate change? They can check all that apply. Driving an electric vehicle, biking instead of driving. So we had this one just as biking, but I feel like some people might bike recreationally, and it's not like they're really substituting their fossil fuel use by biking. So I thought it was good to be more specific here. You know, install the heat pump, replace gas appliances in home with electric, replace gas-powered outdoor power equipment with electric. And then give people the option to add 2 others. If money was not an issue, what would you be doing to minimize your contribution to climate change? Is there anything else besides money holding you back? Do you participate in any groups or organizations whose primary goal is to fight climate change? If so, which groups? Where do you currently learn about climate change information? Check all that apply. Social media, newspaper, friends, family, TV, radio, documentaries, books, school, other. In what ways have you been affected by climate change? Yeah, feeling uncomfortably hot in my home, seeing change in the water level, noticing differences in plant and animal life, experiencing negative effects of smoke inhalation. What have you done as a result of the effects of climate change? So I limited my activities outdoors due to increased amounts of smoke. Changed my landscaping to native plants, pollinators, planted trees to provide shade, installed AC, other optional. And then the follow-up question, if money was not an issue, what would you do to prepare for the effects of climate change? Is there anything else besides money holding you back? Then our city is striving to minimize our community's contribution to climate change and help its constituents prepare for the effects. Do you think our city should make the below actions a high, medium, or low priority? So we have changing the city's purchasing policy to take into account the climate impact of specific products, services, instead of just money. And we actually had reviewed the Kenmore's survey results in our last subcommittee meeting. And this is something that several people within the city department, different city departments had mentioned. As something that they would want to do. Another idea is establishing a library for people to check out. Oops, this one, sorry, to check out. It's supposed to be power, electric power, landscaping equipment.
Okay, I read that like 3 times.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't understand this one.
Transition to electric vehicles in city's fleet, install charging stations for electric vehicles, which is, there we go, there's another. Build more bike lane sidewalks, partner with other cities to influence climate-friendly policy changes on the state level, provide more incentives, subsidies for people and businesses to transition to non-fossil fuels, require all new construction to be, I guess, non-gas appliances.
Is that non-gas appliances and non-gas heating also? Because they
Yep.
tend to be a package. Yeah.
Yep. You can even do or heating. Require all new construction to install heat pumps, require every homeowner to prepare an energy audit when selling their home so potential buyers can understand the home's impact on climate change. Sorry, it's another duplicate there. And then the two others. How concerned are you about climate change? This is
Hey,
something
Tamara,
else.
before you move on, so
Yeah.
under 9, just where you have at the state level, so policy changes on the state level, we might just do county/state, because state
Okay.
might feel too enormous. It
Mhm.
just makes it a little bit more flexible, tangible.
Yeah. Good idea. Yeah, so how concerned are you about climate change? So in the Kenmore survey, kind of surprised that there were not more people who were very concerned. There was a lot more that was kind of, it was the somewhat concerned and very concerned were a lot more even than I thought it would be. And then do you have any questions or comments related to probably the development of our city's climate action plan? And then demographic information, kind of an explanation. We think this information will help us understand the concerns, priorities of different people in different parts of our city. Age, gender identity, address, do you rent or own? And that last one, that was something else the Kenmore survey had addressed, which I think is interesting because a lot of, right, it makes a difference on what you can do in your home.
Well, and they also had a differentiation on whether you live in the city or work in the city.
Yeah, and that was something interesting too. So and they also incentivized business owners by giving, I think it's a $25 to complete the survey.
Yeah, so, it's, I think it might be worth knowing whether the person is a Lake Forest Park resident or is working, or, if we're handing this out at a picnic in the park, for instance, they may be a friend or just someone who came to the park that day, because it is an excellent HCA park. So it might be good to know whether they actually do work or live in Lake Forest Park.
I mean,
Well,
do we
Knowing that
want,
they rent in the city of Seattle is,
I think I'm gonna ask the same thing, Tamara, you were gonna ask, do we actually want people who are not business owners or I think you actually asked that question before you asked them to fill it out. I think either they own a business or, I mean, we could put that on there, whether they're a business owner or they're a resident, but I think we want them to be one of the two.
I guess, how important do you think it is to have the business owners who don't live in Lake Forest Park fill out this surveys? What information would we really, how would that help us in these questions that we have? I mean, maybe we might want to develop a different, like, smaller survey for business owners down the road. I think might be helpful, but I think all of this information is really geared more towards residents than business owners.
fair enough.
I think it might kind of skew our results.
So this is specifically targeting just residents of Lake Forest Park. And so we're going to vet before they answer. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a good idea to ask a question in the beginning, to specifically ask that, like, are you a resident of Lake Forest Park? Let's put that on here.
That's like question 0.
Yeah, exactly. Like on the very top of the
Yes.
survey. And
This is
then,
very long to do in person, so.
It is, yeah.
I think it'd be fantastic for people to fill that out, even if they're not residents of Lake Forest Park, but I think we would, their ability to participate going forward is somewhat affected by whether or not they actually live in the city.
We're also trying to figure out what our communication to the people that actually live here is going to look like.
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I suppose other people who don't live in the city may want to be on our mailing list. So, I mean, I guess they could put no at the top and then just put their name on there. So I guess if we're at the picnic in the park, we'd say, do you live in Lake Forest Park? Say no, say, well, would you like to be on our mailing list? You can just mark no at that first question and then provide your email address.
We don't even have to say that. If they answer that first question, no, you can pretty much ignore their answers until you get to that question about their email address. I mean, it's kind of nice to know, but you know, there's certain, their results shouldn't count.
Mhm. Yeah, but it's just to give people an opportunity to, if they want to be on the mailing list.
But as Corey said, this might be a bit long to do while you're standing at the picnic, so. Yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but can we shorten this to like one sheet of paper back in front, maybe?
Well, something we have, so we can also want to add a QR code to the survey so that people can, you know, fill it out online. So they
Right.
could, and then also if we could have like a Dropbox, like at city council building where people can then take it home and fill it out and drop it off later. Because I mean, I think even if it was just one page front and back, to your point, that might still be kind of long for people to fill it out there. Some people, I mean, they might want to, but
So
yeah, I mean, they could fill it out and then give it back.
Corey, how upset would our city staff be if we use the payment slot to drop this off in?
Off to ask.
Okay,
I don't,
okay.
but like open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. But yeah, at that point, I was just direct people online. I don't
Okay.
know. I like,
Right. So you're saying rather than even give out the survey, there might be just a card or a half sheet that has the QR code on it?
yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we could do that. I mean, some people might want to fill it out at home and then bring it back.
So looking at the numbers from Kenmore, they had about 650 valid entries and about 950 invalid because they did it online, but they had a mechanism to go back and find the invalid. So I'm just saying that once you open it up to a QR code in an online survey, if more than half of your responses are invalid because they're duplicates or somebody trying to push the result to an endpoint.
So, and let me just say that I think that they offered a $25 gift certificate, and I'm pretty sure that that was the motivation. People were trying to enter more and more times. I would not say that they were motivated to skew the results necessarily. I think they just wanted to enter more times. You know, kids go in, and that's what my guess would be.
Yeah, I think that's spot on.
So we just are not going to offer a $25 gift certificate. And, you know, if we get all messed up, then we can take, you know, we can rethink it, but.
Okay, I mean, we'll just take a look and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're asking for people's names too, you know, optional. So that should help too. I don't know.
And
Yeah, I mean, the kind of thing that they pointed out, you know, email addresses that are just long hex strings and stuff like that won't be that difficult to do that level of
Right. Yeah.
Or like, you know, multiple from the same email address, multiple from the same name.
Yeah, I'm not sure what would motivate people to do that for this in this particular case.
And it also kind of, you know, if you have a lot of hand filled out things and then you're trying to have somebody copy those to add into the online database where we're going to be analyzing all the results. Like we said, if it's difficult to get people to have a place to drop off a paper thing, just pushing them towards the online might make things easier.
I think if Linda was here, she might put a vote for keeping a paper for older people who aren't necessarily as happy with doing things online. So we might want to keep that option available.
Are you guys like, do you have like a time limit of like how long you guys want the survey out? You know, having a launch date Saturdays pretty quickly to get all this set up for, you know, I don't know, for how long.
So I mean, how long after Saturday would we like to have it out for to get, I guess, when we think that we've reached as much of the community as possible, or when we're ready and we can start analyzing the data is right away. I mean, I'm not sure, when does everyone else think we'd want to stop asking people for their, I guess maybe we'll wait and
Like, is
see.
this something you want to more gear around towards, like when you have the farmers market booth, and then like really hone in on like go to our website and take the survey there, or do you want like, you know, it out for 2 months?
I think at least several months. So post it on, various social media accounts that we have this survey up. We're at third place comments, if there's some kind of message board, wherever there's like a message board. Yeah, the
We should
farmers
identify.
markets.
Can we identify an ending date though? Because if people know that there's an ending date, and quite honestly, we, certainly no later than the end of this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. If we put an ending date on it, it reduces people saying, oh, I'll do that eventually. And then never getting back to it.
Yeah, I was worried if
Makes sense.
we put the ending date, like if we put December 31st for me personally, if I were to see a December 31st ending date on there now, I'd be like, oh, well, I have plenty of time to do it.
Well, and I agree. So I actually think an ending date closer in makes a lot of sense, but I also think it needs to be finite, because if it doesn't have an ending date, then we don't have a way to stop and say, did this work? Should we try again with a slightly revised survey? Where do we go with this information? I think we need a place where we can stop, draw a line and say, let's evaluate what we've got. And let's see, demographically, what part of our community are we reaching? Are we reaching all the corners of our community? How is this effort working in general?
December
And
31st.
we definitely want to be able to use the cities. I would like to be able to advertise it in the city mailer that goes out. When is the next city mailer going out?
Like the e-news or the paper
A
newsletter?
paper version that goes to every household.
It will be in December.
So that argues more towards the end of December, because then people get their paper version and get the end of December.
Do you guys remember what the farmers market date you guys are at?
Is it in the minutes?
It would have been like a while ago.
In that date. I think I wrote it down. It was sometime in October, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't write it down.
So I think coordinating it with at least an outreach to all citizens in our community by piggybacking on a mailer that's coming out of city council and a paper mailer is just equitable.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people aren't going to go to picnic in the park or farmer's market or, encounter this any other way. So
Yeah, what if you guys have it open like October, November, December, with December being the mailer, and then you can close it, a couple weeks after the mailer's done, or after the mailer's sent out. So then that gives kind of like a more hardcore ending date.
So
months
is the
like-
mailer in early December or late December?
We're looking it up.
I think December 31st kind of sounds good, because then in the mailer, since it's in December, then we can specifically put on there then, like the survey will close December 31st, because then that would give people, right, it's more of a
It's your last
intention
chance.
date. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think including some of that kind of marketing language of, through the end of the year is your chance to, let your voice be heard. And like you said, with the mailer, just a couple weeks left to do it.
So.
And in the mailer, should we include
It would
a
be
paper copy of it?
week of December 7th. So then that gives like the full month of December.
Yeah, that seems perfectly reasonable. End of December. I don't, Corey, if this is limited to one page front and back, can that be included with the city's mailer?
I'm gonna say no on that one.
It's large. So I think at that point, it's a QR code or swing by City Hall and pick one up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can we, would the libraries host them for us also? Could we put them at the library? Paper
I-
version?
Yeah, I'm sure that they'd be able to do something. I know we have like a little box outside of the library.
Yeah, just an open box thing.
Um,
All right, so we're not gonna give this out on Saturday then,
Or not?
are we? Because it sounds like if we want to do October, November, December, putting this out now seems to be jumping the gun a little.
I just would, I want to get your, your wording on the like survey, like what you want to blast out, like what's the survey, I don't know, it's up to you. I don't really.
I mean, the things I was gonna suggest was just little psychological things, like the font size is kind of small right now to make it bigger. Basically put only like a couple of questions per page, and then offset the questions with like splashes of color like around it, and that kind of stuff, right? So it looks like more of a game sort of environment rather than this kind of solid black and white thing.
And I'll have to set it up on SurveyMonkey. I don't have like a lot of time this week.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, we might not be able to have like the online version or everything for Saturday, but at least, I mean, if we have, especially if we have a booth, then we could have something, right? Like something to show people, like, here's something that we are working on. Here's a survey that you can fill out, and we will have an online version later. I mean, it's kind of like what the deputy mayor was saying, like, just go there, like go out to them. And
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's an
Yeah,
opportunity to.
yeah. I even talked to, talking to Tracy earlier, like I can set up like a coloring station for you guys too, like coloring salmon in and, just being there in person, talking to people. I think it's fantastic, but I just worry about like getting out the survey on Saturday when it might not match what we actually put out.
Or the one thing I thought of was just setting up one of those easels and just taking that question that had like about the 10 different choices and just basically having people put post-its or, some kind of mark with a pen in these big, large squares on the easel, right? Which is basically extremely low barrier to entry, right? And just basically getting sort of an informal survey and then being able to advertise the questions, that the survey will be coming out in October, come to the farmer's market or whatever we're gonna do. And, check out, our online presence.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Which
So
question?
more
were you-
like a poll, is that what you're kind of talking about, Tracy? So setting it up more like a poll. Okay.
just really
Yeah, because I
informal.
mean, I think you guys have worked really hard on the survey. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for all of your continuous revisions. And we recognize that you're not professional survey developers, so good job. But
Yeah, really good
so I
job.
think, yeah, maybe there's a compromise here. It sounds like what Tracy's suggesting seems like it would be really good. And we can say, look, we're preparing a survey and we're just sort of, testing some of the questions, and, would you be willing to answer a few of these for us? So whether that's something like on a big format that you're talking about, like the big post-it kind of style, or something where somebody's just talking to them and I guess recording the information. It could go either way. You could do both. I don't know
Yeah.
who's gonna be there. I'm happy to help. if you Need help.
Yeah, I love that idea, Tracy. It's like more interactive.
Yeah, then, then everyone can look over the questions again and maybe from picnic in the park, other ideas might be inspired. Things that we haven't gone over might come up too. You just never know.
The other thing that I think is important, and this is because we all have our naggy little bits, is doing that final run of editing and using consistent kerning and if the bullets are capitalized or are not capitalized. My universe is yes, the bullets are capitalized and all of them are, so little stuff like that. Happy to help with kind of a tech edit version of that, because frankly, if you work on something for hours and hours and hours, you get to a point where you just can't see some of that stuff anymore because your eyes are tired of it. Yeah, they're used to seeing what they're seeing. So just fresh eyes can sometimes help.
Yeah.
But if we could take the time to take those extra steps and test some of the questions on Saturday, I think that'd be a fantastic way to move forward. And then having the survey out in the community for the 3 months with that final push in December, and then pulling our information together in January, that seems like a really good start. Is that reasonable?
It sounds great. Tracy, what were you thinking for as far as which questions to kind of put in like an interactive?
Right. I mean, I guess basically it's something like this question where the idea is that in addition to being, putting post-its or whatever up there, have different colors represent high, medium, and low, and give each person 3 of them, each one of each color, and say, okay, just go ahead and put your post-its where you think your high should go, where medium should go, where low should go. And let's see what they can get back from that, right? I know,
Yeah.
because obviously when they do the survey, there could be several highs and maybe no lows, but the fact is that at least this way we get a sense of like where people are gravitating towards.
Mhm.
Well, and maybe we could have some do you know stuff, do you know that if your house is on Seattle City Light, then if you're using electric heat, your carbon footprint is phenomenally lower than if you have an oil furnace or a natural gas furnace, that kind of information.
Yeah.
Food for thought type things.
Like,
Mhm.
know
Yeah.
how to take a step into reducing your own, like, I don't think a lot of people really have that
Right.
knowledge out there,
Right.
so.
Yeah. We don't even have to make them questions. We just put them as kind of like backsplashes on our booth and things like that, right? Just, these big things that draw people into the booth in the first place.
So I want to be respectful of everyone's time, and I know we're circling back here. First, picnic in the park itself, which runs from 10 to 3 this Saturday. And so I think Tracy said he was planning to be there around 9. Was that what I heard, Tracy?
9:30.
9:30 to help set up. I may not be able to get there at all because of things in my life. If I do get there, it probably won't be till after 1, possibly after 2. But it would be wonderful if other folks could commit to supporting Tracy at her booth.
So I can commit to being there from 11 to 12. So my kids are signed up to help paint the mural, I guess is something that's going to be done there. So I'll have, my mom will be in town so she can help the kids out and I can be at the booth.
So that's 11 to 12. Jessica, would you be able to be there at all?
Yeah, so I can come. I mean, when do you think it's gonna be like the busy, like 12 to 1, like after Tamara leaves, or 12 I'd probably be there for a couple hours for 12 to 2.
That would be fantastic. And then I will do my level best to get there as soon as I can after I visit Dad. And I just don't know when that's going to be.
You
I
know,
could do 11 to 1, so we could have a couple of us there, kind of maybe during that busier time.
I think the conversations are terribly important, and the information that can be shared by this team and just having those conversations is a big part of what we can offer right now.
Could we maybe have a meeting later in the week with those of us who are going to be there representing the booth to kind of nail down the final details?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll send out an email tomorrow morning too, of saying, email Tracy if you want to volunteer for a picnic in the park, since there's, only
Mhm.
less than half are here tonight.
right.
Matt, did I hear you volunteering for any particular shift?
Well, I would love, I didn't realize that it was the Saturday, so we're actually driving up to Canada on Saturday, but I might
That's
be able
not
to.
gonna work.
From like 11, 12 or
It's
so.
just not gonna work if you're.
You too.
Going down the country.
Yes.
Okay. We'll catch you on another.
But yeah, I think the other important thing is, do we have anything to give out? Because, the stickers are great, and the post-its are great, but it'd be nice if we could give them like even a business types of card size things that says, look for the survey. Actually put down our next meeting date on it.
Yes, join our meetings.
Right.
We could stand to have more, people can attend the meetings and contribute without being committee members.
And you mentioned having coloring pages for the kids. And then something else that I was thinking of is we could like make seed bombs. I mean, it's something that I could do with my kids this week. It's pretty easy where you just take like compostable material and you get some native seeds and hand them out to kids.
Very cool. Very
Great
cool.
idea. Tara, I'd be happy to meet, and maybe you and Tracy and I can just email and CC Anne, and she can make it great, and if she can't, that's okay. And
Exactly.
and find a time that works. I'll just say that later afternoons are generally better for me just because of my work day, but I know you have kids too. So Friday I'm more available if that helps with your kiddo care.
No, afternoons tend to work for me too.
Good for you.
Husband's on pickup duty.
Friday afternoon would certainly work for me.
Then if you guys want me to like write up or print like anything, just let me know.
We should probably have it to you before Friday, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
might be nice.
Yeah.
Or like Friday by noon or something, I'll probably.
If I knock out something and send it to you guys, you can all take it, take a look at it and take it down or whatever, but I'll put up a straw man thing at least, and that way we'll have something that we might be able to give to Corey later in the week. I'm shooting for like Thursday for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make it Friday work, so.
Okay.
Sounds good. And then for the survey, and I'll send it over to you if you want to do that tweaking and formatting of the words. That would be awesome.
Happy to. I have to, I have time available tomorrow and would be happy to punch away at that.
Cool. Thank you.
Be delighted. Thank you very much. I really am impressed by the amount of effort and thought and the results that have come from that. So really well done by the committee.
Cool. Thanks. And if anyone has anything else to add, so I'll send the link out to everyone, or maybe Anne, you could send the link out to everyone to the survey again, so people can add more comments to it just before we finalize it.
The survey, it's been a problem.
Okay.
So if you could send, I don't know who has the master document link.
Yeah, I do. I'll send it to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That'd be
Thank
great.
you.
And if that's communications committee, I'm going to give the world's shortest data committee report. We met, we saw, we did. We have a list of outreach of data requests, and we're figuring out which city committee has that information, and various data team members have taken on responsibility for specific silos, and we're working on our silo. And hopefully by the time we regroup next month, we'll be able to report back. with at least knowing where to go to get answers, and hopefully we'll have some of those answers. Being at the major holiday break of the year did not work to our advantage. So, and with that, the October meeting date, I just want to confirm that everybody has that on their schedule.
Yeah, so for the first Tuesday in October is it's Yom Kippur. It's the night before Yom Kippur.
That's-
So it's the-
And that's what I wanted to check, because if, I mean, I do not want to be meeting on major religious holidays and raising that conflict. So with that, Tracy, what is the normal protocol? Delay 1 week?
Yeah. I mean, generally when we, but it's just a mutually agreeable time when people can meet. So with the question of Yom Kippur, does it matter if we meet after sunset?
So for that particular day, that's the night before Yom Kippur. So the Kol Nidre service is that night, which is, yeah,
Okay,
so I won't be able to attend.
that's fair.
I could attend the following day.
Right.
So Wednesday, is Wednesday acceptable? Because I know I have a hard conflict the following Tuesday. So Wednesday, that would be October 5th.
And at night, again, same time, the same 7 o'clock.
7
Yeah.
o'clock, Wednesday, October 5th. Is that acceptable to everyone who is here now?
That'd be great. And I'm gonna also say that Anna, that also works for Anna. So you can add another committee member to that.
Okay, that sounds promising. So we have at least the 5 of us. And Corey, does that work with you?
Yeah, there's a tree board meeting that night, but I think it's fine to have 2 boards meetings in one night.
We probably can't meet in this room, but
No, the tree board they're all online and they use the other room,
Oh,
so we can
okay.
use.
Okay.
Like, we'll be fine.
okay.
That would be fine then. So let's see if there's an issue with the, Corey, can you help me with that? Seeing
Yeah,
if
I'll
we can-
send an email out tomorrow for moving meeting to October 5th, and then like picnic in the park, to just
Yep.
email Tracy if there's others want to be involved.
Yes, thank you very, very much.
And I'll just mention really quickly that our subcommittee didn't meet last month because I've been too busy and I was on vacation. And Matt, I hear that maybe you want to join the action item subcommittee, maybe. So I'll
Yeah,
email.
I'd love to sit on your next meeting. whenever
Okay.
it is.
So I'll send an email out to get a meeting organized in the next couple of weeks. So
Great, good.
Thanks.
I'm glad we're making that connection here.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, with that, does anyone have further discussion for tonight?
I have the shortest subcommittee report too, which is the resources subcommittee. There are at least 2, I wish Miriam was here because there's at least her version and my version of the resources list, and we got to reconcile them, and then we'll present it to the larger committee.
Thank you.
There you go.
Excellent. Thank you all. You know, sometimes you realize that it's the day-to-day effort and you work when you can work, and then sometimes other priorities are real. But we keep plugging away. I know we're going to make good progress. And, you know, I really, I liked what Deputy Mayor McCain said, what your community wants is action. That really resonated with me. And I am very pleased to see that we're moving towards action faster every meeting. And thank you all very, very much.
Thank you.
thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
All right, take care.
Thank you.